It was early morning in eastern Burkina Faso, and the sun had just started to rise. President Ibrahim Traoré stood by, his black SUV sipping tea. He was preparing to visit a rural youth center, where hundreds of young people were waiting to see him. Speeches were written. Drummers had already started warming up in the village square, but there was a problem: they were running late. One of his closest advisors, a tall man named Idrissa, stepped forward. "Sir," he said, "if we take the main road, we'll arrive 2 hours. Late, but there's a shortcut through the bush, very quiet. No towns will be there in 40 minutes. Ibrahim raised an eyebrow. "Is the road secure?" "Yes, sir." Idrissa nodded quickly. "Our men cleared it yesterday. I personally oversaw it." Karim, one of Ibrahim's bodyguards, stepped forward. "I've never liked that road, too quiet, but Idrissa insisted. We have limited fuel, and the youth are waiting. We must move now." Ibrahim paused, thinking. Then he said, "Fine, we'll take the shortcut." The convoy of 5 vehicles rolled out, 2 armed trucks in front, the president's SUV in the middle and 2 more in the back. The road was narrow and bumpy, surrounded by tall, dry grass, not a single person in sight. No homes, no goats, no smoke from fires. Just silence. Half an hour passed. Everything seemed calm. Then a cow appeared standing, right in the center of the dirt road. A big brown cow. Its horns were chipped, its eyes calm, its legs firmly planted. It stared straight at the president's car and refused to move. The driver honked. Nothing. The front escort truck shouted, "Move, shoe!" Nothing. One soldier fired a shot into the air. The sound echoed. Still. The cow didn't budge. Everyone was confused. "It's just a cow," one guard said. "Let's push it off the road." 2 soldiers stepped out and tried to guide it with sticks. The cow stepped back slightly, then returned to its same spot. President Ibrahim watched from inside. The SUV puzzled. He rolled down his window. "Why hasn't it moved?" "Hesked, no idea," said Karim. "It's acting strange." "I tried driving around it," Idrissa said quickly. "We're wasting time." The driver prepared to steer slightly off-road, but something in Ibrahim's heart felt heavy. He looked again at the cow. It wasn't scared, it wasn't running. It just stood there, blocking the exact center of the road. Then he said something that surprised everyone. "Stop." The car. The driver obeyed. "Send a man to check under the cow," Sir Idrissa said nervously. "It's just a cow," he said. "Check the ground." 2 guards approached carefully. One leaned forward, studying the dirt under the cow's front legs. Suddenly, he jumped back. "Sir, there's something here." The convoy froze. Everyone rushed to look. Half buried in the ground, just inches beneath the cow, was a thin metal wire, barely visible. The soldier followed the wire with his hand and gasped. It led to a mine, a real landmine. Karim called out, panicked, "Sir, we've got explosives." "Not one, 3 mines hidden together," gasps, shouting radio calls. The road had been prepared for a kill, and that cow had stopped them. Just in time, President Ibrahim stepped out slowly. He looked at the cow, then at the ground, then at Idrissa, and for the first time he saw fear in his advisor's eyes. The road was silent, but not peaceful. Soldiers surrounded the area. Guns were drawn, radios buzzed with voices. The discovery of 3 landmines buried under the dirt had changed everything. And yet the cow still stood there, calm, still watching. President Ibrahim Traoré stepped forward, eyes fixed on the spot where the wire poked through the soil. He didn't speak. He didn't blink. His mind was racing. "We cleared this road yesterday," he said, finally turning to Idrissa, his advisor. "Yes, sir," Idrissa said quickly, sweat already forming on his forehead. "Our security team swept it. There were no signs of any danger." Karim, the head bodyguard, knelt beside the wire. "This was planted recently," he said, "very recently. See this?" He pointed at a fresh boot print next to the mine. "The ground is still soft. This wasn't there yesterday morning." Ibrahim narrowed his eyes. "Someone knew we'd take this road." Idrissa spoke again. "Sir, maybe the enemy just planted them, hoping anyone would pass by." But Ibrahim didn't answer. He was watching Idrissa's hands, his nervous, twitching, his eyes darting, and something else hit him. Idrissa had pushed hard for this road, too hard. We were supposed to go through Kutugu. Ibrahim said slowly, "Why did you insist on this shortcut?" Again, I just thought we'd save time. Idrissa stammered. "You said we were Latte Karim," stood up, his hand on his weapon now. "But this road isn't even on the official travel list, and you claimed to oversee the clearance personally, didn't you?" Idrissa's throat moved as he swallowed hard. "Yes, I did seek the commander of security operations, arrived on a motorbike with backup troops he was." Briefed in seconds, then he turned to Ibrahim. "Sir, may I speak to you alone?" They stepped to the side. "I don't trust him," Siku said, quietly nodding toward Idrissa. "And you won't like what I just found." "What is it?" One of the private security officers assigned to Idrissa was caught trying to send a location ping to an unknown number. We tracked it. It connects to a satellite uplink that belongs to a private foreign military firm. Ibrahim's face turned to stone. He looked back at Idrissa, who was now pretending to scroll through his phone nervously. "Held us to this road," Ibrahim said, "and someone made sure there'd be mind swaying." Siku added just then. A soldier near the cow shouted, "It's moving!" Everyone turned. The cow finally stepped aside slowly, quietly, and began walking into the bush. It was as if its job was done. No one followed it. No one could understand it, but deep down, everyone felt it. That cow had saved them. Sir Karim said, "This is more than luck. This is a message something bigger is going on." Ibrahim nodded. Then he turned to his men and gave a chilling order: "Search every inch of this road, every route, every tree, and arrest Idrissa. Don't let him speak to anyone." The men moved fast. Idrissa tried to speak. "Mr. President, I swear I don't know." But Ibrahim raised a hand. "You wanted me on this road. You told me it was safe. You promised it." He leaned in closer and said softly, "But that cow saved me before you could kill me." Idrissa's face went pale. Soldiers grabbed him and dragged him to the back vehicle. The president turned to his men. "We're not going to the youth center today. We're going to the truth. Someone planned my death, and this was just the beginning. The convoy didn't move forward that day. Instead, it reversed slowly. Carefully, under full military escort, mines were marked, drones were sent overhead, and back at the palace, a dark cloud hung over every room. President Ibrahim Traoré didn't say much on the ride back. He sat in silence, looking out the window, replaying every detail. A trusted advisor had just been arrested, a cow had stopped his car, a hidden landmine waited beneath his wheels. It was no longer just a coincidence, it was a message back at the intelligence headquarters. Idrissa sat in a cold room, hand-scuffed sweat pouring from his temples. Commander Siku stood across the table. "We traced your phone," Sik said. "You deleted your GPS history, but our system recovered it." He placed printed papers in front of Idrissa 2 days ago. "You stopped near the exact spot where the mine was found." "What were you doing there?" Idrissa shook his head. "I was just checking the route alone. With no security, I needed fresh air." Sik slammed his fist on the table. "Stop lying." Idrissa flinched. "Who paid?" "You who told you to guide the president down that road." Idrissa said nothing. Sik stared at him, then gave a cold smile. "Fine, let me show you something." He turned on a screen. Of video played grainy footage from a hidden camera set up by villagers near a telecom mast. It showed Idrissa at night, speaking to a man in military boots. The man wore a cap low over his eyes and handed Idrissa something. "It was a satellite phone. We recovered that exact phone from under your car seat," Sik said. "You forgot to destroy it." Idrissa's lips trembled. Finally, he spoke. "They said they only wanted to scare him, make him afraid, easier to control. They said it wouldn't kill him. Just send a message." "Who is they seek?" demanded. Idrissa shook his head. "I don't know. Names I was given. Money. Promises." He looked down in shame. "They hate him." "You know," he whispered. "They hate that he's uniting Africa. They said if Traoré keeps rising, Western interests will fall." Siku leaned back. "And you sold your own country for what dollars?" And fear Idrissa didn't answer. President Ibrahim sat in his office later that evening. He held a file full of evidence, photographs, maps, satellite phone logs, and one strange image. The last photo taken by a drone, above the ambush site. It showed the cow standing peacefully in the middle of the road right above the mine. Ibrahim stared at it for a long time. Sikh entered the room. "We've confirmed it," he said. Idrissa was recruited by a foreign network, likely a military contractor linked to, you know who? Ibrahim didn't look up, finally. Asked, "Do we know where the cow came from?" "We asked the nearby villages, no one owns it. It doesn't match any herds, it just showed up." Ibrahim smiled faintly and vanished when the work was done. Sikh nodded slowly. "Sir, permission to speak freely, go ahead." That was not just an animal, that was something else. Ibrahim looked out the window. "I know," he said, "and I don't take it lightly." He stood up. "We have enemies in suits, enemies with pens, enemies with mines, but now they've seen something they can't explain." He turned to Sekou. "Prepare a message. I want the world to know. Africa's path is not guided by fear, it is guarded by something greater, even if that something has 4 legs and horns." Ibrahim smiled. Even then, 2 days had passed since the landmine was discovered. Across Burkina Faso, whispers were growing. Did a cow really stop the president's death? Was it luck or something divine who planted the bomb, and how deep?